Hey, what's up investors? Juan Pablo here. Hey, a few months ago, I made a video about how to use business credit for multifamily properties, right? For real estate investing in Pittsburgh, PA. But now I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm here to share with you today, as the people's mentor, actually how to get out of it. Now, you might have been a client of ours, right, who used business credit with our program. If not, check the link below. But let's say you are that client and you apply for business credit and receive a 0% APR for 6 to 12 months. And you're ecstatic about that, you're excited, and you actually took action to the point where you use that business credit to get yourself into a real estate property, a buy and hold, a rental property, producing cash flow. That business credit was used to get you in the front door, right? No pun intended. However, you might be thinking, well, how do I exit out of this? How do I get out? That's a financial freedom principle. You must always look at the back door when you come in the front door. In other words, evaluate all consequences up front. Meaning, okay, so I'm gonna use this business credit to get in the front door, see how this plays a part into my cash flow, but I also need to have a game plan in place to actually exit out of the business credit, hence the term exit strategy. And today, I want to share a few pointers with you of how to exit out that business credit. My motto is, if you don't need it, don't eat it. Meaning, let's say you use that business credit, you acquired a rental property, it's producing cash flow. Cash flow is the money left over, right? The bottom line, the profit in your pocket after all operating expenses, debt service, and reserves are accounted for. The profit in your pocket. So you use that cash flow, let's say it's $100 per month, right? You get it, but you don't eat that, meaning don't consume it. Don't live off it yet, especially if you haven't reached that point of financial freedom. You might have bought a 4-unit, cash flowing, who knows, $500 a month or $400 a month in cash flow. Take that $400 and use that $400 to pay down the debt service. Whether you have seller financing on that deal, whether you have a private lender, or in this case, we're talking about business credit, use that additional $400 a month in cash flow towards the business credit. That's my first tip. Now you might be thinking, well, why would I buy a property and then use that cash flow to pay off the debt? I want a cash flow. Hey, that's the route that I took. The reason why I was able to quit my day job in 4 years, because I didn't touch my cash flow in 4 years. I applied that snowball effect. So I closed on a deal, $400 a month of cash flow here. Then I closed another deal, $700 a month in cash flow here. And then another deal, $1,200 in cash flow. So I kept amassing a lot more cash flow, and I would still pay off debt with it, because I realized, hey, I haven't reached the pinnacle of financial freedom yet. I'm not there, right? I'm still on that long journey. You know, I'm trudging uphill. But until I get there to the summit of that mountain, I'm not going to touch my cash flow. So I recommend that to you as well. Use your cash flow to pay down debt service. Now, the second tip I recommend is force appreciation. Now, when you buy properties, right, the 1% finance way, we always talk about 3 things that you should implement in regard to your criteria, right? First one's cash flow, at least $100 per door. Second criteria, we always talk about making sure you get it 100% finance, or if you plan on using your own cash savings, which is perfectly fine, by the way. You know, cash is king, credit is queen. If you have the cash, by all means, use it towards real estate. But if so, make sure you get a cash on cash return of 10% or higher. And the third way is improving the value. Now, there's 3 ways of improving value. And before I get into those 3 ways, it's important to improve value so that when you do improve the value, meaning you build the equity in that property, right, the difference between what it's worth and how much debt that you own on it, you can do what's called a cash out refinance, meaning you pull that equity out and you can use that equity that you've established, that you've built, and pay down or pay off the business credit. Okay? Now you might be thinking, well, what if the business credit is paid off? Because I've reinvested my earnings, like you mentioned, Juan. Well, great. Take that cash out, that equity, and use it towards your down payment on your next property. It's like Monopoly, baby. That's how you end up buying property after property. You improve the value, take out the equity, and put it towards another deal. But if you have more expensive debt, then you have to do what's called a cost comparison. It's the best to pull out this equity and use it towards a down payment on a new property that produces cash flow, so that way I can get to financial freedom much faster in multi-units, like you preach a lot, Juan Pablo, Or is it better to my advantage to take that equity and pay down his business credit, because I'll get a higher return in paying down this debt? You just got to compare the two, okay? But now let's get back into the 3 ways of improving value. First way, buy the property with built-in equity. Period. As an investor, you should always buy a property at a discount. You should never pay for what a property is worth, let alone more than what a property is worth. And I see many beginning newbie real estate investors do that. You should never pay more than what a property is worth, right? Get it at a discount. How much of a discount? Well, great question. As much as you can get, right? But I'd say minimum at least 5% or more, right? Not every seller is going to agree to 5%. It may take some negotiations and sales and strategy on your part. However, 5% or more is great. After built-in equity, the second way to improve value is my personal favorite: forced appreciation. Why is it my personal favorite? Because that's something that's in my control, right? When I buy a property, I look at the financials during the due diligence period, and I can see, oh, hold on, we can do rent increases. Wow, these rent increases will not only improve my cash flow, which I'll use to reinvest it, remember, if you don't need it, don't eat it, but I can also improve the value. Because when you improve the operating income, the net operating income, this NOI, which is the difference between gross rents minus operating expenses, doesn't include debt service, that also has a positive impact on the value. And if I reduce my expenses, the costs, let's say the water bill is reduced, the taxes, the insurance, I can improve the value as well. Forced appreciation. The third way is buying a property in a positive appreciating market. Okay, so when you're improving this value, I highly recommend, again, you take that cash out and pay off the business credit. Now, the third tip that I highly recommend is perhaps entertaining cash injections. I've done that with one of my partnerships, right? I own a partnership, and an investor came to me and said, hey, instead of me having to wait to do another deal with you, Juan, can I just give you the cash and just get some equity in one of your existing partnerships? I said, sure. I said, however, it's not going to be the same equity split that I did with the partners, because they were with me since day one and so forth, and they had to bring financials to the table, so you're doing less work. So just keep that in mind, because your equity may be lower than theirs, even if you put the same amount of capital in the limited partnership. And he was fine with it. So I did a cash injection, okay? Now that's 3 easy ways that you can use to pay down business credit. Use your cash flow, improve the value, do cash out refinances, and consider doing an injection from a partner who may want to, just take the easy route and just give you the capital, and you can use that capital to pay off or pay down the business credit. All right, guys. So business credit is a great tool to use towards business, towards business. That's true, but also towards obtaining rental properties. You just got to make sure you use debt strategically and precisely, as if a surgeon would use a knife or a scalpel, right? If you use a scalpel, you can save someone's life, but you have to use it with precision and education, right? If you want someone to do surgery on you, you want to make sure they spent years in school and had countless hours of practice before they do any type of surgery on your body. But if that person didn't have that schooling and they used that scalpel or knife haphazardly, it can actually kill someone's life. It can take someone's life and kill them, right? That's analogous to the same thing of using debt. If you're using debt, let's say business credit, for example, seller financing, mortgages, whatever, without precision, meaning you haven't calculated the numbers with precision, as well as you haven't received any education, right, in regard to using business credit for real estate, then you could potentially kill your deal. However, the flip side is true as well. If you use business credit or debt with precision and you were well educated, then more than likely you can use it to save your deal or save your cash flow. All right, so if you're interested in business credit or want to learn more about the education aspect, just visit our website, 100percentfinance.com, and we'll be happy to help. And by the way, for everyone who applies for business credit, by checking the link below in the description, we actually provide free consultation to all those who apply. So whether you get qualified, you're not qualified, no worries. We'll share with you exactly what you need to do to get qualified, or we'll give you an estimate about, hey, if you move forward, you can get about, who knows, 40, 45,000 within the next 16 days. It's that simple. And the only thing you have to do is take action. All right. So as always, guys, this is to your success, Please like, share, and subscribe. And thanks. Peace.